All right. It's your man, Byron A. Lloyd. I am him. He is I am that guy. Man, this is my first podcast, and I will be streaming video of and uploading video of. My guest is my very good and dear friend, Terry Christian. And we are about to get it on, man, and shoot the breeze. Let's see how it goes. Camera, audio. Let's do the damn thing. Terry, you ready?
Good to see you, Byron.
Good to see you too, brother. It's been forever, man.
Yeah.
I ain't seen this guy since school, and man, fuck, that's probably, excuse my language, you know how that's going to go. Not safe for work, adult situations and language, most likely.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
But I hadn't seen you since fucking high school, junior high, and you know, so I'm sad to say I had to get my diploma. Luckily, my mom was a school teacher, so I got a homeschool diploma, and I only had to take one test. I passed when I was 15. Because if not, I wouldn't have got a diploma because I was such a dumbass and hard-headed and running with the wrong folks and was a jokester. And obviously they don't like Mr. Bridges, the love of Mr. Bridges. Don't like jokes. You know, one time I sat in the office so much. Here's a quick story. Remember they had all the old school soda bottles with the Coke machine in there? I had to sit in there in his office 3 days so he keeps on me every period. They would just bring me work in. And I slowly took bottles one at a time outside on the other side of the gym and stole every bottle in there and took them to auditors and got $37, dude. And they didn't notice it till the next day, and I went back there the next day, and man, it took about half a day, and like, where's the bottles? Where's the bottles? And man, I was laughing so hard, I thought they would think it was a joke, and I handed them the money, and I said, I wouldn't make y'all some money, and handed Mr. Bridges the money. He handed me 15-day suspension. And man, but anyway, I ended up going to school. I went to ninth grade 4 times, man. I never made it past January. Because I would do something dumb. Like that time I rode the four-wheeler. You know what I mean? We rode the four-wheeler down the hall. But I was just acting out because I was bored. But anyway, we went to school together. I hadn't seen him since high school. It's been forever and a day. You know, we talk, of course, online, social media, just about daily. But it's good to see you, man.
You too.
We're grown-ass men now. Crazy,
Yeah,
right? Right. We go from awkward kids to middle-aged dudes,
I know,
man.
we're pushing 50 now.
I know, dudes. Oh, man. I hope no 20-year-old women are out there, single women that with $1 million in their pocket that heard that. And daddy issues. You're definitely going to need daddy issues. But anyway, brother, like I said, Terry had the forethought to put it to some of his followers on social media, on Facebook, and get us some topics, try to get the ball rolling. As I'm excited that we're recording this on video for the first time, and I'm also excited that well, Terry's here, but that we can spitball some questions that folks have asked us. Because I know one topic I mentioned to Terry that I had no idea about that I'm interested in, just because I'm a people watcher and I love observing watching people, and it's a part of a culture that I'm not real hip to, and I always love learning new things about new people, y'all. You should try it, especially any of my right wing friends that actually screwed up and watched this podcast. You should try get outside your conservative bubble and looking around. You know what I mean? Experience the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Get outside your comfort zone, man. Don't hang out with people that just agree with you. That's how you become a sheep, by hanging out with folks that are yes men like you are. But anyway, what kind of topics we got, Terry?
Well, first of all, I'd like to tell our listeners
Go ahead.
I do have a little bit of a birth defect. That's why my voice is kind of weird. So get used to it. That's all I can say. It's just the way we are.
Right.
And
I got a little lisp. It's all good.
And Byron's absolutely right. Get outside your comfort zone because, Americans are notorious for appreciating other cultures only through their food.
Right.
Mexican, Italian,
Right.
Thai, whatever you have.
They don't give a shit about anything else.
And they'll give a shit about anything else.
And they know all of our culture, every element and facet of our culture, obsessed with it.
If only people who like, say, Italian food were to dive into Italian culture like you do your food, or Thai, or Mexican, or French, or whatever it is. Why not take a few days and just immerse yourself in that culture.
Right, and the people,
and
man.
Learn to see things from someone else's point
Right,
of view.
and that's how you get empathy. That's how people stop fighting, and we all realize we're all part of the same race, the human race. We're all the same thing, man, the same animal, and that's how we get along. We have unity, and that's part of it. I know people think I'm an oppressive asshole, but online, but all it comes down to is I fact check everything myself, and when I see people putting just blatant fake shit out there, man, and it's mostly from the right, and I'm not saying that because I'm biased, even though we know I am, but it is. It's a fact. They've released scientific studies that prove most of fake news are coming from the right wingers who are screaming everything's fake news.
Yeah,
but they're screaming about the wrong shit being fake news.
Right, and
the
also,
credible news sources, mainstream media.
Just to back it out from the whole political thing, because I know some people watching this, listening to this,
and we're not going to make it big
political and just shut down. Psychology has shown that we tend to listen to things, pay attention to things, internalize things that confirm our inherent biases.
Right, exactly right. And confirmation bias, right.
Yeah, confirmation bias.
Right.
And that we tend to shut out things that don't fit with what we've been told, what we've learned, what we've been taught our whole lives. So it's important to get out there, outside your comfort zone.
Definitely.
And even if it's false, it's false.
Right.
But still, at least you have exposed yourself to it.
Right. You got a different perspective.
Right. Get someone else's perspective.
Because life's all about perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just a little book in on that, like what you were saying. Well, hell, I lost my point. I spaced out there. It happens, man. I kill brain cells occasionally. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Shit, man.
Well, we were about
it sounded good in my head when I thought it too. It sounded awesome. I was like, man, I'm just to fucking drive this point home. Just to put a hammer on this nail, damn it. And then I whipped
we were
it.
about to see.
I was talking about confirmation bias.
Oh, yeah.
I know what I was going to say. And that's why conspiracy theories work, because they're already agreeing with your biases. That's why you buy into them, because you already believe in half the shit they say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll take one kernel of truth, put 10 layers of bullshit on it, and that's how they suck you in, because you already half-ass believe what they're telling you anyway. And I'm looking at you, alt-right, and flat earthers. I'm looking at you guys.
Yep.
Right here, man. Right here. And if I put on my Chromecast, you would see, I might just put it on shuffle, because you'll see some photos from NASA, and you'll see, folks, that the earth is round. I'll prove it right here today. In tiny Palestine, Arkansas, me and Terry will prove it to the world the earth is round via the most basic of technologies, because this is DIY with a capital DIY right going on right here. This is some guerrilla bootleg broadcasting happening right here.
Yep, definitely.
Balling on a budget.
Definitely.
But anyway, like I said, we had some categories and Terry wrote them down, and I know one was, which we'll get into, was lesbian erasure we were talking about. And what else here? I can look. I go to Facebook.
Well, before we did this podcast, I sent out an APB on my Facebook asking for things that people want answered, questions, topics, whatever we could talk about. And so it kind of runs the gamut. We don't have that many, but it really runs the gamut. The first one, I'm not going to use real people's names here.
Okay.
But I'm going to call her Moshing in Memphis.
See, I've heard of a Facebook now, but we'll take the identities.
Cool. But yeah, Moshing in Memphis asks, she said, no, I can listen to you talk about 80s music forever.
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then I asked her, what specifically? And she said, early goth, post-punk bands, your favorites. Best tracks, club cuts, deep cuts. Okay, so we're talking about
I love
80s
of course I love music. Everybody knows that.
Post-punk.
So we're talking about maybe like let's say 80s post-punk and John. So we'd be talking shit like The Cure.
Cure's always
Cure to be right there. Would the Smiths make it?
Yeah, definitely the Smiths. Yeah, any kind of what we would call indie. They didn't really call stuff alternative back then.
No.
But they called it indie.
That was a label for so many subsets there.
And goth.
But I would call it punkish, or what was they said? Not electronica, but when it was real keyboard heavy, they'd call it
synth pop,
new wave.
New wave,
or something. New wave, right?
But she was more into the goth, post punk,
right? So you have to remind me of some goth bands, man.
Yeah. Well, of course, The Cure. The Cure is always great.
Right. Yeah. What am I thinking? I love The Cure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cure is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not hip to The Cure, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Oh,
if you love 80s music,
you know, just this past Saturday was Record Store Day, when a lot of record stores put out new exclusive releases that musicians have made just for this Record Store Day.
Right.
And I didn't get to go to it, but I ordered a couple of stuff online. And
all vinyl?
Huh?
Is it all vinyl? Or is it
it's all vinyl.
See, I got a good friend who's and my Uncle Walter's a big time vinyl collector, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could afford one of those new, it was one of them old school turntables. What are they called? The ones everybody loves?
I don't know. But don't get a Crosley. Don't get that cheap shit.
No, yeah, Crosley's cheap. No, there was one. I saw Mark Merwin get it first. You know, he bought one first, and then what is it called? I forget. See, back when I used to really DJ, back before I figured out how to do it on a computer, when I got back here when I lived in Florida, folks didn't want to hear you actually fucking DJ off vinyl. And man, I had a pair of Technique 1200s. I know you find old Technique turntables.
Yeah.
Techniques are beautiful. Technique 1200s are the gold standard on old school scratching, folks.
Oh yeah, and the one I have is an Audio Technica LP.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, it is a clone of the Techniques.
Right then, man. When I saw it, man, I got so excited because I was like, man, that is a diamond in the rough because, you know, nowadays everybody's going back to these turntables, and I forget, man, what this brand is, but I know that Jack White's he owns a warehouse full of these turntables. I forget what they're called, but these turntables now are like $14,000 to $16,000 or something. Yeah, they're insane. They're called tube. They're tube turntables or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called. I'm a little spaced out. Go figure.
But anyway, getting back to the music, well, anything past 80s, where did goth go? Well, I got into, and I wasn't much into Pearl Jam and Nirvana and all those 90s bands.
Right, that was more my time, right.
Yeah, it was more his stuff. I don't get into all that. Personally, I thought the 90s were the worst decade for music ever. That's just me, though. But anyway.
They had a bunch of misses, I will say that. It ruined hip-hop and rap. Yeah. There was a golden era at the very beginning, but the middle, man, it got bad toward the middle.
Yeah.
And now we got bubble rap, which is horrible.
We're talking about goth and all that. What were bands that I like?
Yeah.
I got into progressive rock back in the 90s. Of
course, was Pixies 80s or the early 90s? What were the Pixies? I would think the Talking Heads would make that cut.
Yeah, Talking Heads were late 70s, early 80s.
The 80s, right?
Pixies were 80s.
So what was your band, man?
Oh gosh, way back. Oh, talking about 80s or we're talking about
80s? Well, yeah, because that was the question.
I was big into NXS.
Oh yeah, that's my shit too.
Yeah,
Michael Hutchence. You see me playing it all the time.
Oh,
NXS is one of the most underrated bands. Man, shocker, we agree on something. NXS is one of the greatest 80 bands ever. Michael Hutchence was a genius. Their whole story's crazy. There's a 2-part biographic movie about it. And I forget where you can see it, but it's like 6 hours long. But it's incredible, man. It tells a story because people don't realize because Australia is, of course, let me teach you a little geography and science here, people. Ready? Write this down. Get your crayons out. Australia is a country and a continent. Go figure. It's the only one we got. But anyway, because it's so removed from everything else, that there's like a hardcore club. Bar circuit that they play, AC/DC, everybody's kind of playing. It's almost like the Chitlin circuit or the vaudeville circuit was back here. You got to make that grind. And they said that NXS, man, just grinding it out for like 5 or 10 years, man. And they thought they was never going to get discovered. And then at the last minute, they got discovered. And their first album was a Kick. No, Kick was the second album.
They've been making albums for years.
Right, what was the one that blew them up with?
In the 80s, they made, in my opinion, 4 great albums in a row.
Right.
Listen Like Thieves.
Yes.
What You Need on there.
Right.
Kick, which was by far.
Kick was the one that had just hit after hit after hit. Needs to Night, Devil Inside.
Yeah, and it's celebrating its 30th anniversary this year.
Genius album.
Yeah, it is. And then they followed that up with X.
Right, right.
Blonde.
Suicide Blind, great song.
And then they had their 4th one, which was more artistic, more experimental, called Welcome.
That means they're probably deep in drugs. That's code for bad on drugs, probably.
It was called Welcome to Wherever You Are. And
I've heard that
also sounds like a druggy thing, but who knows?
Wink. Narcotics.
But yeah, they have 4 great albums in a row. So anyone who's not familiar with INXS, it's spelled INXS.
Right.
Go out and
definitely. That is a must. You're a fool not to.
They're amazing.
No doubt.
And
no doubt.
Sad thing is, they kind of declined in the mid '90s.
Because a little thing called autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, and
Google that and see. If you don't know what autoerotic asphyxiation is, Google that in front of your mom or grandma.
Yeah,
and see what they think about it.
Well, long story short, that they wound up trying to get some new
lead singer, front guy. I saw that at some point.
Yeah, and they even released an album with him, and things just didn't turn out well, and so they called it quits. You know?
You can't replace Michael Hutchence. How would you even try?
Well, for a while
he was everything a frontman's supposed to be. He could sing. He was creative as fuck. His lyrics were smart. He was beautiful. He's beautiful.
Amazing.
He was a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
And I'm a straight guy. I tell you, he was handsome as fuck. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
He was.
It was amazing.
Oh, I could. Right, and he knew it too. And he was one of those first guys. The '80s is when, thanks to David Bowie in the late '70s. But the '80s, you know, Prince and Michael Hutchence really started pushing that androgyny thing. It became more accepted in popular music.
Yeah.
And Michael Hutchence was smart enough to play right into that shit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a long tradition with David Bowie, with all the glam
right,
rockers.
Right. Even Mick Jagger, you could say, pushed that androgynous thing. But, you know, it was really David Bowie that really broke that wall down on that shit. But, like I said, David Bowie, also another beautiful man. You know what I mean?
Well, anyway, to get back onto
back
here, talking about bands
ADHD,
that had kind of taken up the mantle of goth, and goth has gotten to be kind of a subculture in itself.
Right.
But other bands that I like, there's one out of Australia called Voyager. They do heavy progressive metal.
I have to check that out.
Voyager is great. They just released
what about Midnight Oil?
Called Ghost Mile last year. They're great. They Google Voyager band probably. And there's a British band called Tesseract.
I like this technology. Dan's got it going on back here.
Voyager, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here in the video, you probably can't see this amount of detail, but still.
Yeah, I can zoom it in, but the deal is, we got to be careful.
Right
we got to be careful about playing something because I don't want to get sued because I'm a poor ass white boy.
Yeah, do the little V logo. That's their logo. At least we can have that.
Right? Yeah, we can do Voyager. I'm just going to see what it said about the band.
Oh yeah.
They look like some goth heavy dudes. Look at the picture.
Oh yeah, they're great. And
blow one of these pictures. This picture right here.
Their lead singer plays a guitar too.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's different as hell, huh?
Yeah, he's great. But besides Voyager, there's a British band called Tesseract that had just released their new album. It's their 4th album called Sonder, S-O-N-D-E-R.
Yeah, he's putting me into some new shit.
They're great. They're very heavy.
Well, I want to hear them, but I'm scared I'll get sued. How heavy are they? They look like some heavy dudes, though.
Oh, they are. And
they look more death metal than they do goth.
And they have a chick as their
front person.
No, their bass player is.
Oh yeah, female. Hey man,
no,
some of the greatest bass players ever are female.
I may be wrong. She could do lead guitar. I think.
I'd say more killer. You know what I mean?
It is.
A female lead guitar front and a male band is a lead guitarist and a female. That's
impressive. Yeah.
Especially when it's a real it's a progressive metal band.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a little description. Australia's great progressive metal band Voyager is about to go out on tour again. Let's see. Yada, yada, yada. Singer and keyboard player. Here it goes. I don't say who's playing the guitar. But but that's on 100%rock.com, man. There's an interview with them.
Yeah.
Let's just see.
They're amazing.
Let me see if I can just hear a little taste, because I know I can hear a little bit.
I think you can legally do 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think so too. We're supposed to try it out.
But it's heavy. It's heavy, good heavy stuff.
I like heavy. What would you compare it to that was something older like I know, it was like a Metallica type or heavier than that? What would you Metallica, like old Metallica, is heavier than that?
It's much Metallica, but Metallica is not progressive really.
Right.
But
I'm a little stone man and confused. I'd like to hear a bit. You know
anyone who likes progressive metal, like Dream Theater,
was the Rush considered progressive metal?
Progressive, yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm feeling you.
Yeah, Rush.
There's so many subgenres now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's hard to keep up with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's so specific. Let's say we'll try to hear a little taste of Voyager.
Yeah.
The speaker on this Chromebook ain't too damn loud, which I could have fired up Spotify, but look, I just found out Spreaker.com, which Spreaker.com/Shooting the Breeze. It's how you find me or search my name. But also they added a new deal to the app where I can upload my podcast straight to Spotify. Also, so sweet. I'm on a big time platform now. How you like me now? I can't wait for the money to roll in. My check will be here next week. They say.
We can go and get on iTunes as a podcast.
Oh yeah, I can upload it on iTunes right now. You know what I mean? Or you've always been able to do that, or SoundCloud or Google Play.
iTunes, you get a big audience through that.
Right, it is. If I'm just more consistent and organized, man. Yeah. But I was recovering. I didn't have the time. And you know, when you're laid up at your mama's house like you're 12, and it's hard to do anything. Yeah. I really couldn't do it like I like. Now that I'm in my own place, my own spot, I'm building my own little studio and try to really put forth some effort to do this shit, man. Do it right, or as right as I can do. What happened to Voyager Band?
I know. Go ahead and talk. I'll find it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I'll find something.
Thank you, because I was struggling there. You know what I'm saying? Needless to say, I'm celebrating 420 on 420 fucking 2. It's the 22nd, I believe.
420 is
was last Friday, but I'm still celebrating. So what's the day? The 423rd?
I think so.
All right.
Is it like Christmas and the third day of 420?
Yeah, it's like marijuana, not Hanukkah. It just goes 7 days before and after 420 Earth Day. But let's don't forget, it's also Earth Day, and we need to remember the Earth because we're shitting all over it, and it's going to kill us faster than anything Donald Trump knows. And I'm not saying that I am saying that in a jest, but in a half-ass, honest jest, and in all sincerity. Donald Trump's the only president I've ever seen that makes me go to sleep worried at night on what's going to happen next. Because he knows about as much of what he's going to do as we do. You know what I mean? He's waiting for Fox News and Sean Hannity to tell him. And that's what blows my mind. That was the little part of Trump I want to get into real quick.
Yeah.
So I come to find out that Michael Cohen, Sean Hannity, first of all, let me say something about Sean Hannity. When he wants to try to be all pious, he claims he's a journalist.
Yeah.
When he gets caught out for his bullshit and false facts, he claims he's an entertainer. Right? But we find out that he's the mysterious third client of Michael Cohen. And let me tell you something that's factually true. I made jokes about Michael Cohen going to the worst law school in America, and I researched him. You can go Google it and find that for yourself. But he actually did go to the worst law school in America. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The number one worst law school in America. They take 86% of applicants, and they said they've been thinking about revoking their credentials for the past 3 or 4 years. It's literally, that's, of course, which is also funny because it leads back to Donald Trump hiring the best people. Even his fixer, and they say the reason he got Michael Cohen is because he's cheap, which makes sense because it seems like Trump's cheap on everything unless himself. That's the only time he spends money on himself.
Okay, folks, here's some Voyager. Just a little taste of it.
All right.
This is the single off their latest album. This is called Ascension, although you probably can't hear the video.
Yeah, the TV, microphones on the TV, we can hear pretty good. Got to be a good sound.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Turn it up a little bit more.
Can you take?
There's some metal here.
Oh, yeah. I like the rhythm. Oh, dude, I'm feeling this already. Oh, man. No shit. I like this. One of my favorite new bands is Royal Blood. You ever heard them? They're a two-man band from Britain. But they play, I guess they're kind of progressive new rock. But they're two dudes. They sound like a full band. But what's crazy is that that's rocking. You gotta probably hit 30 seconds, ain't you?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Okay.
All right.
That's a little taste of
man, that sounded good. I'm gonna check that out on Spotify.
From Australia.
More is it Mansion and Martian in Memphis.
And they're from Perth, which I think is way down on
right, yes, on the other side of Australia. It ain't close to Sydney and the other one.
Oh, yeah, it's wet. No, Perth is, I think, the other direction.
Right, yeah,
southwest.
Right, off by itself. You know what I mean? Away from all right.
Uh-huh.
But no, what I was going to say is Royal Blood, I've been listening to about a year and a half, 2 years, and when Foo Fighters went on tour in Europe last year, they said they demanded the only band that would open for them was Royal Blood, man.
Oh, cool.
Oh, they're awesome, dude. if you look, you can look up a little piece on there, and they like figure it out. It's a good song. It's a great video too because it's about the woman is a strong female lead who kicks ass and slaughters folks.
Okay.
You know, some gropey ass rapey dude gets his ass handed to him brutally. You know what I mean? It's not a slap on the chin. But anyway, they're real good, man. Who's this right here, Sonder?
Yeah, this is the song King by Tesseract.
Tesseract's the band, the album Sonder, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where are they from? America?
They're from Great Britain. Actually, I saw them at the High Tone.
I love the High Tone, man.
Yeah, I saw them at the High Tone.
Memphis.
They were awesome.
Hashtag Memphis.
Yep.
MTN. I'm sure he's about to lose it, right? I already see this field's going. He lost his job, so he's about to go full postal. Oh yeah, big in that. We're definitely past 30 seconds.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Hey, if you see me make a big deal about it, at least I get some press and maybe be able to make my lawyer fees some media junkets or some bullshit.
Okay, now how do I turn this off?
Hit pause on the space bar. Space bar. Just hit the space bar, man. There you go. Oh, here you go. My bad. Oh, you go. Oh, he's so used to working Chrome.
Yeah,
just hit the Google Chrome down and bring it back up.
Yeah, I closed it.
Oh, okay. You closed all right. All right. That's cool.
Still going.
We can restore. Well, let's hope. Hopefully, we don't get sued off the first one. Don't.
But anyway, they're a great
Bam!
band.
Look at there. Bam!
Anyway, they're a great band. They're from their fourth album. It just got released, I think, this past week. They're amazing. Tesseract.
Right, yeah, I like them. They were heavier. They were pretty heavy.
They're very heavy.
But I like the.
And if you like bands that do part clean vocals, part of the scream type vocals, you'll love them. Of course, and there's other bands like Opeth, O-P-E-T-H, Opeth. They've been around for about 20 years now, and they're amazing.
I wonder. Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
I wonder if since Spreaker's hooked up with Spotify now, and I know there's another app where you can play select Spotify songs for free without getting sued on this other podcasting app. I wonder if I can play some of this shit off Spotify and get away with it legally.
Possibly.
Well, you know I'm a rebel. Go ahead, keep talking.
Unless you have a subscription, I'm not sure you can choose what songs on Spotify. I think it's more like radio, you know.
No, Spotify you can choose them, it's just a select few. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. Because look, I've tried every music service there is, and you know me, I refuse to pay retail on 95% of everything, especially when it comes to stuff online.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Spotify, I've tried Amazon Music, I've tried YouTube Red, I've tried everything. Nothing beats Spotify, man.
Okay.
Now, it's so worth the $10 because you see me, I listen to music constantly, man, probably 2 or 3 hours every day. And the great thing is you can make your own playlist, you can download stuff so when you're offline and don't run, do your data. But the whole deal is that it's taught me so much new music.
Oh, yeah.
And I already had a real eclectic taste, a real broad range of taste, and it's made it so much broader, especially on this new stuff. You know what I mean? Well, people say there's not no good rock and roll out there. They're listening to the wrong shit. There's good rock and roll out there, man.
Well, there's so many bands out there, and no one's really making it big anymore. But if you're a small band, at least you can get heard and get a small following. But anyway, from the question, best trash, club cuts, deep cuts, post-punk bands, I've just recently...
You know more deep cuts than I would. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I've gotten into, back in the early 90s, I got into... what is called industrial music. The Wax Trax out of Chicago. They were a great label with
Chemical Brothers, would that be considered?
Huh?
What'd you say? What kind of music? I'm sorry, I'm spaced out.
Industrial.
I remember industrial, but I'm trying to. I'm horrible with fashion names and stuff.
Early Ministry.
Okay, yeah.
Early Ministry.
I got you.
And Front 242, By God 20. My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult is a great one. I love the first couple of Thrill Kill Cult albums. They got...
How's that a band? What's the band? Thrill Kill?
My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult.
That's the name of the band?
That's the name of the band.
Hey, I have to give them A for effort on the name.
Oh, yeah.
That name's incredible, man.
If you like cheesy B movies, they did a lot of B movie quotes quotes in their music.
And oh man, I like that.
As time went on, they got more cheesy and more kitschy,
right.
more 1960s. But their first couple of ones, Unless the Timer, it's just about time.
We're going to swap batteries out.
Yeah, just about time for a commercial break. Before that, check out the first couple of Thrill Kill Call albums, like Confessions of a Knife, The Single Cooler Than Jesus. They did, instead of doing 60s kitsch, they did like satanic kind of quotes from. So it did.
Well, you said satanic. They weren't half our 4 listeners.
Yeah, they weren't really satanic though. They just like
the West Memphis 3 loved them. That was their favorite band. No, I'm just bullshitting.
They like to quote those kinds of movies, and it's really kind of funny. So definitely check out that whole genre on Latch Tracks out of Chicago. They did lots of industrial music and stuff that we would later know as Later Ministry, 9 Inch Nails, that kind of thing. All came from that.
Right.
So anyway,
we're gonna take a pause for the calls.
Yeah.
We're gonna swap batteries, and we'll be right back. We'll talk about movies, start knocking more shit off the list.
Yep.
You know what I mean? One of these times, maybe next time we're live streaming, so we can take live input while we're doing this. Maybe while I take a break, I'll put it out live on Facebook, social media that we're doing the podcast. Maybe we get some live input too
cool.
when we do this.
So
shit.
Just like Chuck Woolery, we'll be back in 2 and 2.
That's right. We are back in it to win it. Terry's dotting the I, crossing the T's. We're just be back up in it. That you're shooting the breeze with your man. That one guy that's kind of sly. His name is Bob. He is I. All right, man, we're back up in it. Let me get pause on this.
Yeah, he was just showing me this band he was talking about earlier called Royal Blood. Sounds pretty cool.
Right. During the break, we listened to a little Royal Blood, and we're going to go on to the next topic and shit. Let me switch. I want to switch. I was going to say, we got 13 minutes left in this segment, and then we're going to do one more 45-minute segment, a 2-parter. And now you can watch it on video if you just want to see us sit here and shoot the breeze. Mm-hmm. Or now you can listen to it while you jog or do something, even if it's eating Twinkies and smoking bowls, man.
Yeah.
But anyway. So where we at here?
So the next
this is a good one. This is what I've been waiting on.
Yeah, the next thing is we're going to talk about lesbian erasure, and I'm not talking about the duo from the 80s.
That's an obscure joke. You got to be a real 80s fan to get that. That's pretty good, man. I didn't see that coming. Good one, Dave.
So I'll call this lady Chick from Chicago. She is from Chicago, and this is
I looked this up when she posted the other day, and I learned something about people. I love that.
And I asked her. She wanted us to discuss lesbian erasure, and I wanted to kind of clarify with her exactly what she meant by that and what she's asking about. So this is kind of long, so I'm still going to read it. She says, I lay most of the blame for lesbian erasure at the feet of the trans community, most especially male to female converters. Because of male privilege which they carry with them, the refusal of the trans community to make their own ways and fight their own battles, riding on the coattails of the lesbian and gay pioneers that have fought and died to create a more equal and tolerant America, and the ignoring and denial of scientific biological fact that the largest sex organ, the brain, is fundamentally hardwired male or female.
Check it out.
When a person is identified as male at birth, there can be no comprehension at any level of what life as a female is. Another issue of the trans community is the lack of clean delineation in terminology, the overtaking of the title queer as an almost non-sexual umbrella term to mean other is an affront. Historically, queer has meant homosexual. It no longer has any specific definition. I have always been proudly queer as a female lover and sexual partner.
Interrupt you. I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
But this is from the girl who asked us about the question, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I was about to say, because it's an article or something, I can zoom it in and blow it up to help you out. I want to use my
female lover and sexual partner of like-minded females. Queer has been appropriated and degraded by the addition of all the recent sexual preferences that the trans followers claim as their orientation.
I could say that, though.
And the economic inequality facet of lesbian erasure is almost completely ignored. The reason there are no women's bars in Chicago
anymore. I saw a documentary about that.
Yeah, it's simply due to women being paid less for the same job as a male. This has been the situation for the last 20 years. And that's pretty much it. So we're talking about, well, number one, the word queer. Yeah, it used to be in my day, in our day, that queer meant gay. It meant homosexual. But now it's broadened to mean anyone who doesn't fit with sexual or gender norms. It can mean gay, it can mean bi, it can mean trans.
And now it's fluid and binary.
Yeah, right.
You can be pansexual.
Gender fluid, asexual.
Right. It's hard to keep up with
and
as a straight guy.
What she's saying here is that broadening has helped to kind of squash the identity of lesbian identity.
Minimize it. She's lost in the crowd, kind of.
Right, and not many people are quote-unquote lesbian anymore, just like very few people are gay anymore, but because we have male privilege, those of us who are gay and male, that we're still heard, but lesbians are not, and they're kind of ignored.
Just like in the real world, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just because they're gender,
they're pushed under the rug.
Right.
And, and truly,
that's wild, though. I never thought about it, though.
When we watch TV, when we watch movies.
Right, they're subjugated in the gay world. That blows my mind. I never thought about it.
Yeah, we see a lot of gay men in like Will and Grace and things like that. But we see a lot of now trans representation, which is wonderful.
Right.
But we don't see as much lesbian characters.
Right.
We don't see.
Especially like realistic lesbian characters, like more of a butch type character, more they seem to shy away to the more feminine type character because it's more pleasing for the general public.
Right, like that cable series, The L Word.
Right. See, that's what I was just talking about, dyke culture that disappeared now. I was going to talk about this article. The other day when she asked about it, I went straight to this article on Slate, and then because I love learning about people, and because as a straight guy, you know what I mean, I'm not privy to a lot of y'all's culture information because I just ain't my world, man. But I want to learn about it, about as much about anybody as I can, especially people that are friends of mine, and because I want to understand you. You know what I'm saying? Right. And like I said, what blew my mind is it never occurred to me that in the real world, where the sexual identities are normal, and a man's a straight man and a straight woman, that even though she's getting paid less because of her gender, even when you flip that around and turn it on its head, and she's a lesbian, she's still getting treated the same way, even though her sexuality is completely the opposite. You know what I mean? She's still getting subjugated and getting paid less and going through the same things as a straight woman. You know what I mean? And you don't see it. I know it exists, but it never occurred to me. I forget, I don't want to get too loud, but it never occurred to me like, hey, I forgot you might get sensitive. But everybody knows I'm a walking bullhorn. That's why I'm a fan of Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, I'll just turn it around so I can do this the right way. But yeah, and those of us who are gay, lesbian, queer, whatever, are indeed seeing a lot of our culture disappearing because the more
it's getting appropriated too,
and it's kind of a
queer culture's getting appropriated too in fashion and shit.
That and it's also a bittersweet thing because our cultures came about as a product of being oppressed. And people looking down on us, discriminating against us. So we had to make our own spaces where we could be safe and where we could meet other people and talk with other people in safety. And now that we're more accepted by society, there isn't as much of a need for those spaces, and we feel the need to assimilate more into regular culture. But at the same time, when we do that, these spaces are closing. I know in Memphis,
it's like I'm trying to interrupt. Yeah, but I see what you're saying because I'm trying to learn as a straight guy. But basically, it's awesome. It's more awesome that you're more accepted nowadays. But it's watering down your culture in a weird way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because people appropriate y'all's culture, And you know what I mean? It becomes more accepted, so it becomes more mainstream.
Yeah.
So you're losing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's almost like
that's wild. You know what I mean?
I don't want to go
learning stuff about.
I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but
right. Oh, feel free, dude. This is fascinating.
Well, it's kind of like black culture.
Right. All cultures at some point, huh?
Since the civil rights movement.
Right.
And they became more accepted.
All right. Black culture's been hot since the 80s. It blew up and it's been on fire since then. Look at rap music when it first started out. It was a fad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
during the 90s and the zeros, black culture has been kind of denigrated. And
right.
we see the rise
gentrified in black neighborhoods, right?
It denigrated with people like Donald Trump. So that now when we dare to have strong black characters in a movie like Black Panther,
right,
it gets put down because how dare they, or Beyonce at the Super Bowl,
right? Or how about did you see her? Which I will say something, man. I went back and watched it because I ain't gonna lie, I love Beyonce. I love Beyonce.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I hate to say it because she's still so early in the game, but man, she's so amazing. And it's going to sound like I'm gushing her like a 15-year-old kid. She might be the greatest female performer I've ever seen in my entire life. She's talking about that she's old school. She does it all, the singing, the dancing, the writing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But her performance at Coachella that she just had, did you see that thing?
That's amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah. And I've seen over 200 concerts, and that might have been the most incredible shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It was so on point. And man, it empowered women and empowered black women. Mm-hmm. Man, it was just so beautiful, man. It hit all the right notes.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, man, it was impressive. It was explosive.
Yeah.
She crushed it. You know what I mean?
But,
it was just a beautiful thing.
But back on topic.
Right. You know what I mean?
We're talking about, let's say,
right.
Culture. When's the last time you saw a quote-unquote dyke, a stereotypical lesbian on TV?
Right.
Or any outward lesbian.
Right.
And
unless it's, what is it, Orange is the New Black, maybe? It used to be the L word, but that ain't no more.
Right.
What's the old guy that's got that, oh man, he's a funny comedian. He's got that little live talk show on TBS. Chris, what's his face? But his best friend and head writer, now she's Butch. She's on there. But you would never know it. Nobody watching the show.
And like
you know
Ellen DeGeneres.
But you're right. Yeah, right.
On TV, but there's not.
Right, but she's really not as butchy as she used to be. Either.
Right, and there's not much of a hint. Oh, it's not really about butchness. It's about her expressing herself as a lesbian.
I'm sorry.
And
I don't know better.
That's fine. It's about expressing herself personally as a lesbian,
right.
and that's kind of watered down.
They dance around it now. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just don't talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right. And
you're supposed to assume it. Right.
Right. And it needs to be out and talked about.
Right.
And
that's what we try to do, man.
Yeah. And so when you combine the denigration of being gay, the denigration of being a woman, and everything gets swept under the rug and watered down.
That's crazy, man.
And not to denigrate trans people, but no.
Yeah, I got a question about that. Go ahead.
She does talk about how she says that male to female trans people still get to have male privilege, and they've grown up.
Damn, they do. That's part of the other side of the coin.
Right.
When you talk about subjugating women, it's male privilege and then white male privilege. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get into any kind of anti-trans water here. I don't want to do that.
No, we're pro everything.
But
it's about except for Trump.
But being trans or the identities of trans people are very fashionable right now, and fashionable in the sense that they're being paid attention to, and so it's another way that lesbian identity is tending to get kind of watered down. And I think we do need more. Well, we need more lesbian, we need more gay, we need more trans, we need more of all of
everything,
them,
right?
In culture, on TV,
everything. And
I don't care if the right wingers do get sick of seeing us.
Turn it on CMT.
Yeah, we're anywhere from
Outdoor Channel. They got something for you.
Right. The estimates are that non absolutely straight people are around a third of the population.
Right.
Somewhere on the spectrum.
Right.
It's about time we
it's
have
been that way since the beginning of time. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
It ain't like people woke up in the 1950s and said, hey, let's try gay out.
Yeah, and plus, talking about economy. These bars are closing, and we need those spaces.
Yeah, I saw a documentary on that, man, and that blew my mind. I forget who it is. You help me here because I didn't mean to interrupt you, but because I got some questions when it comes to gender and shit. Gender.
Okay, we'll do that in just a second.
Right, but I was going to ask about the bar deal.
Yeah.
Her name might be PJ or something. She's the chick that's in the band, but she's got a mustache. She's got the glasses. What's her name?
What band?
Fuck, I just saw her on Vice. Oh man,
I don't know who you mean.
But anyway, she's a. Well, I'm just saying that she did a documentary on Vice, and it was about how I forget what show it was. What was it? Anyway, no, it was. I think it was Hate Thy Neighbor, and Jamali, the dude that hosts Hate Thy Neighbor, he always goes and finds out different cultures, usually like white supremacists or lesbian or what's going on. Trying to talk, trying to meet and understand people like we're trying to do, man.
Yeah.
And, he goes to Chicago and San Francisco and shows how the lesbian bar scene is fading away, and all these famous used to be like all these famous haunts, lesbian haunts have went away to nothing. And there was like this one bar in Frisco or one bar in Chicago that was barely struggling to hang on, and they were like mortgaged to the hilt, taking side jobs. And I thought, man, that would suck if you had that little place of solace. That little safety zone, that little comfort zone, and they all disappeared. Everybody needs their own safe space, like you said. Everybody needs their own comfort zone, man, right?
Yeah, and Memphis.
Makes sense.
When I first came out 20 years ago in Memphis, we had
it's
in the day paper. There was a listing of all the gay bars and clubs, and there were, some were closed. Some were closed and some were open. But they're usually around 10 or so. Now,
I knew Chaps and J-Wags. Go ahead. I knew of Chaps and J-Wags.
Yeah, and there
were around 10. Times.
But now I think there's only 2, and
really,
and back in the day, of those 10, probably a couple of them.
Hold up, I forgot, Terry. You know what we did?
What?
I'm glad we're still recording here because I got caught up in the conversation. And we rode through that last segment. That's okay.
Okay.
My bad, man. Go ahead.
Well, of those 10, probably only about 2 were specifically.
We're back at it. I got sidetracked.
Okay. Probably only about 2 were specifically for lesbian women, which is underrepresentation in any way.
That's what interrupted you. I'm sorry again. Man, I'm shitty at this. Anyway, we were just talking about, once again, lesbian erasure, and how I'd seen a documentary where they were showing all these famous lesbian bars are fading away because of their culture being watered down and dismissed nowadays more than it has been, and they're losing their safe spaces. And that's what Terry was talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. And I was saying how back when I came out 20-something years ago,
5 years ago,
we would have about 10 gay bars, and only about 2 would be specifically for women. For lesbian women.
See, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm trying to interrupt you. I remember J-Wags and Chaps. I've been to both those a few times, and there was one Red Square that was gay sometimes.
Well, that was gay friendly, yeah.
Right, and I know they had a trans night. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. But side note, don't do this at home, kids. I had a buddy who was a bouncer at the bar. We all went and partied with some friends. I won't name them, from Forest City. We might have ate some LSD, and we went in there and we didn't know it was trans night, right? And some dudes got rude awakenings in there on LSD that shook them to their core.
Well, it's probably
you know what I mean?
If it wasn't trans, it's probably drag queens.
Right, that's what it was. My bad, I didn't mean trans. It was drag queens. Yeah, my bad. I do know the difference. And they're not trannies. They're trans or transgender. It's not trannies. But yeah, it was drag queens, and I was the first one to get surprised, but I just laughed. You know what I mean? Because I possibly allegedly might have been on LSD. And you know what I mean? I was, because your eyes play bad tricks on you. And I was convinced this chick was Marilyn Monroe, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no, it was a guy named Ricky. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But yeah, only about 2 of the 10 were specifically for lesbians. And and lesbians are entitled to their own spaces.
Right.
And so that was only 2 out of 10 to begin with. And then when, with assimilation, with acceptance, these bars have been closing, and now there's virtually none left.
Nothing, right.
And so these
what a dichotomy,
they have nowhere to go to celebrate their own sexuality.
Right.
And I thank goodness for, there are like get-togethers, almost like conventions where they can get together.
Right. I've seen them do like bar reunions too. I think in that documentary they were having like like you said, it was almost like a convention. It was a reunion of all the people who went to the bar.
Weekend, and it's good that they still have those, but that's no substitute for.
No, it's definitely no substitute.
Right, and
everybody needs their own place, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To be themselves.
So
for sure.
that's our discussion on lesbian erasure, and I hope
we all learned
Chicago,
something.
Yeah, I hope.
See, that's what I'm trying to do here on Shooting the Breeze. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying that's what we're trying to do here on Shooting the Breeze. Because I know a bunch of folks that live around here don't really know any gay people, and if they do, they're scared to talk to them about it because they have their own hang-ups and they don't know how to get around it. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to teach us about everybody, about goofy stoner nerds like me, about intellectual, articulate gay photographers like my man here, Terry. You know what I mean? About everybody. I've had Charlie Whitaker here, my black friends, to give the black man perspective. That's what he calls it. What does he call it? The black man perspective by Charlie Whitaker. But because everybody, because this is how it works. This is also part of how human psychology works. Especially white men. White men have a tendency to show up in a foreign land and see people who are different to them and get paranoid, real scared, buy a bunch of guns, and kill every fucker that ain't them and take it over and put their flag up. And, as a white man, I'm not proud of it, but that's our history. Mm-hmm. It ain't like we've done it once. We've done it everywhere we went. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's part of it. If you know somebody, you're less likely to harbor hate for them or have animosity against them because you know who they are. People always tend to be scared of the unknown, people they don't know.
Definitely.
And, we want everybody to love everybody and know everybody. So that's what we're trying to do. But we're also trying to have a chuckle. You know what I mean? Sometimes maybe some drinks. And sometimes maybe some, like I said, some learning, some loving. Hell, we might even hug. Who knows what could happen? Yeah. Might be hug fest at the end, and we openly weep.
You're not my type, Byron.
I'm not anybody's type. That's what's sad.
That's very
here
sad.
Recently, it seems like fuck. I don't have a type. I'm my own type. I know Lefty don't complain. But anyway, so what's it? We still got anything on the topic?
We got one more on my list. Yeah, we got one more on my list of people sent me. I'm going to call this guy. It's from a guy this time. Manless in Millington.
Oh man, I'm one manless. Go ahead.
Yeah, Manless asks, is it possible to have an attraction to the same sex, but not to be into any sexual aspect of the attraction? Is it possible to have an attraction, well, in his case, to a man, but not be into man-to-man sex?
That's possible,
okay.
Right? Gotta be, right?
Okay, I did some research on this.
That's a good ass topic of question.
It is. And when I first got into...
You thought about that shit, go ahead.
Yeah, when I first came out... When I first came out, we did not separate all that. To us, attraction was physical, it was mental, emotional.
Right, it's all one thing.
All of it.
Right, it's all wrapped up.
It's all wrapped up. But I have a close friend who is a grad student in psychology. And so I had the opportunity to ask him about what is the current thinking about that. And now we know that things like sex, gender, attraction, gender performance, all those they're not binary as in one or the other. They are on spectrums. It is possible to be in the middle somewhere. And we know that they're compartmentalized. They're not all the same thing. Like I said, to us, attraction was physical, emotional, mental, etc. Right. But now we know that physical attraction may or may not have anything to do with mental attraction, which may or may not have anything to do with emotional attraction or anything else. That these can be separate things. Someone can be homosexual but heteroromantic, or someone who is asexual, someone who has no interest in bumping uglies with anybody, may be heteroromantic.
Well, I'm asexual at this point, folks. Basically, me. Go ahead.
Well, we're not talking about by
not
necessity.
By choice, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're not talking about by necessity.
Right.
But so his answer was yes, it is possible. It is possible to have an attraction mentally, emotionally, to someone of the same sex, or to anyone, but have the sexual attraction be completely different. that you may be mentally and emotionally attracted to another man, yet have no interest in having sex with him, or having sex, or you may be interested in having sex with a woman, or nobody, or whatever. They don't have to be all together. They don't have to be together.
They can be exclusive, right?
They can be exclusive,
right?
Which is really interesting.
It is very interesting, man. And I want to say, who was that said that question?
That was Manlis and Millington.
Right, that's his pen name we're using, right?
Yeah.
His pseudonym.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's not one you know.
All right. Well, Manlis and Millington, I will say, dude, to give us a break. Shit, dog. What kind of question is that, man? You hit us with some Dr. Phil level Jedi shit, man, on the first time out. Jesus. I'm glad Terry was on that. Good looking out, dude.
Sure,
I'm glad you looked that up because Jesus might have come off my head on that. But to me, it makes sense because there's got to be something of everything. Just because of mathematics, that's got to be possible.
Right.
You know what I mean? It has to be. Because, as a child you did, it was easy. You know what I mean? As a child you were attracted to folks and were in love, your first love.
Yeah.
And sexual intimacy or sex didn't play a part into it or sexual attraction whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was that pure childlike, puppy love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would make sense to me, but I'm glad you confirmed that.
Oh, yeah.
That was a hell of a question, dude, bringing the heat. Yeah, man. You couldn't ask us about some new cornball fucking mainstream movie or something, man. Way to go. I'll give it to you. If I was giving out awards, we'll give out our first question of the podcast. Manlis and Millington, I wish I could send you a man. If I was into dudes, I would be there for you. I would make that sacrifice possibly for the podcast. But I'm not. I'm looking for a chick, and I'm manless in Palestine. But a hell of a question, dude. You know what I mean? I have to give it to him.
A pussyless in Palestine.
Right, pussyless in Palestine. That's right. Hapless and what? I'm going to go there. I was just get rude with it. I was going to say hapless and snatchless, but I don't get too rude with it. You know what I mean? Or snappy, snapper. Anyway. But damn, that was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
And me and Terry was watching earlier because he was noticing my movie poster that I told him that I'm trying to get my top 10 directors in here, represented in a movie poster for him. And which I made a little joke, and I'm going to go ahead and explain now because I got video because nobody ever got it. I got so into hanging my little cheap posters here that if you notice, Vincent Vega and my man from Pulp Fiction have killed a dude from Fargo. I forget the character's name that got killed in Fargo. But look, you see he's shot down. That's how much thought I put into it. I know it's sad. Sad. What a sad, lonely life I lead. Anyway, but I wanted to represent all 10 of my directors because I want to talk about film a little bit too. And Terry's into film, of course, especially motion and still him being a fucking kick-ass photographer, man. And he's got a pretty sweet camera collection.
Thank you.
And not to mention I've already polished your knob over that nice turntable you got. That thing's pretty sweet. And but yeah, I want to talk about movies, and I was just going to say I get to see Black Panther because first of all, they still won't let me drive, so it's hard for me to go anywhere. So I ain't been to the theater. But I know a friend, wink, wink, who gets to watch a lot of new movies offline for free, allegedly. You know what I mean? This IT guy, though. But anyway, Black Panther, according to him, ain't been released in digital form yet, so I ain't get to see it. But I know everybody's stoked for it. It blew the box office out.
Stoked. I haven't seen it yet.
Right. I'm dying to see it. And I'm not a, you know what I mean? And I'm not a,
I think it comes out on digital and on DVD, Blu-ray in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
So I'm really
stoked. It'll be hitting any time.
Yeah.
Like I said, but the newest thing I watched was that new Joaquin Phoenix last night. What was it? I
saw the ad for it, but
I'm going to have to look it up because I allegedly might be slightly medicated. And it was a real confusing title. Let's see. Joaquin.
Yeah, I just recently saw Call Me By Your Name.
How's that? Krasinski's new movie? Horror movie?
Huh?
John Krasinski, is that John Krasinski? What's the new one?
No, that's a Quiet Place.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Call Me By My Name is,
It's a gay film.
with the young guy that blew up, Timothy Chalamet, or the other one?
Yeah, that's him.
Right, I know what you're talking about.
Armie Hammer.
Right, Armie Hammer would be a pretty Armie who come from billions of dollars, was born filthy, stinking rich.
Yeah, and he was amazing and hot.
Right.
And,
he's a good-looking man.
He was in I'm thinking of.
He's better looking than Chalamet.
He was the Superman guy.
Carville, or not the other one, the new one.
The new one, yeah. He was in
but Armie Hammer is your traditional handsome man.
He was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Right, that's it.
They're both, and that's a great film.
I get to see that yet, but I know Armie Hammer. He's your classic beautiful man. You know what I mean?
He is.
That blonde hair, blue-eyed, chiseled chin, just all American.
I still give the edge to Superman.
Something about that clip chin puts him over the top or something. That clip chin looks
the hairy chest. I'm all
right,
about
and
that.
see, oh really? You like your hairy chest?
Oh yes.
Well, man, that's one thing. I've been blessed with all kind of hair up top. The rest of my body is putrid. Look. I don't shave my legs, but look how thin that hair is. And my chest hair consists of a little fur on my navel and like a couple of scragglers around my nipples. It's a sad sight.
He's like a baby mouse, ladies.
Oh yeah, it looks horrible. It's shameful. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. But like I said,
But Call Me By Your Name, basically it's a film.
Yeah, I started watching like 20 minutes of it and I fell asleep, man.
Yeah, it is pretty slow, and I have mixed feelings about it. But Armie Hammer plays a grad student in the early 80s who goes to Italy. And
Chalamet's infatuated by him. It's a crush, right?
And Timothée Chalamet plays the professor's son. So yeah, it's slow going, but it has a big payoff at the end. It's very good.
See, that's what I heard. I heard that. And see, man, my ADHD's got worse since I got older, but I love a great twist or a killer payoff. Yeah. But as I get older, it seems harder to stay into it, man.
Well, it's not really a twist. It's more of an emotional.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said payoff. That's why I said twist or payoff.
Yeah.
Because it's all right if a movie's slow and really melodramatic, you know what I mean, intense and emotional. If at the end it's the big heart swell type moment, you know what I mean.
That's the way that.
You know what I mean. Yeah. You're like tears of joy. You know that which a great example of that in modern film is of course. Forrest Gump, you know what I mean?
Oh God,
that thing has. You're the only person I've ever heard. You really hate Forrest Gump.
I hate Forrest
Finally,
Gump.
Look, I've said for 20 years, I've never met anybody, black, white, or any ethnicity, male or female, that hates Forrest Gump. And I have found the guy. Are you shitting me, dude?
I'm not shitting you. Now I
hold up.
love
You
Tom
literally
Hanks.
hate it, or you just say that because you're tired of it.
I legitimately hate.
Like I hate the Scorpions, the band. I hate Rocky like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I like
now this is fascinating. I've been looking for you for half my life. So what turns you off?
To me, it's not about anything. It's about this dumb guy who finds himself in
a serendipitous situation over and over and over.
And there's really nothing.
That's the sweetness of it.
He's not likable. That's our timer. We're about ready for another commercial break.
Battery, all right. Because we still got 29 minutes left in this segment, folks.
Yeah. Well, let's see how.
I wonder how much we're looking at the camera because we don't have nobody directing us.
Actually, we're still good.
Oh, we're good on the battery? I can't wait to see this video. I bet you we're looking at the camera or the floor at each other.
Probably.
80% of the time. I'm still trying to work the medium. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Me and you, I'm here with you. It's just us two and this guy.
But, talk about Forrest Gump. I love Tom Hanks. I loved him in Bosom Buddies.
Right.
Of
course, I have to say the Philadelphia story.
Yeah, Philadelphia was good.
Well, just the statement he made at the time.
I love him as a comedy actor.
Of course.
Not as a dramatic actor.
You're talking about Big, and of course you're talking about the legendary classic Bachelor Party.
Everything he was in as a comedy is classic.
Oh man, Bachelor Party was one of the greatest early '80s original raunchy comedies ever. The Donkey O'Dean.
And after seeing him do so many boring, dramatic roles, I was glad to see him play.
Yeah, he's starting to come back and start doing comedy now.
On Saturday Night Live, he did
I just watched it. The Donald Pumpkins dude. The Pumpkins dude. Hey, that's crazy coincidence. Look, I somehow missed that because I watched Saturday Night Live. Somehow missed it. The other day, I might have been having a little head session, and I was looking around Saturday Night Live to see if a new episode come out, and I saw the David S. Pumpkins. I'm talking
it's amazing.
Look, this just happened Saturday, and I was like, Tom Hanks, David S. Pumpkins, and I watched it, and man, it was hilarious, dude.
And it's also a masterpiece of cinema because it's very
what a crazy coincidence.
It's absurd.
David S. Pumpkins brought us together on the fly.
It's absurdist, and he does exactly what he says he's going to. He tells the couple, "I'm going to scare the hell out of you," and he does.
That's right.
At the very end.
I'm David S. Pumpkins. He always does his. I'm David S. Pumpkins.
Yeah, you can go through and analyze it all you want, and it's brilliant.
Check it out on Hulu. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I went and looked up and seen it was created by Bobby Moynihan. What was the other two guys? But it was Bobby Moynihan and two other writers from SNL. And they said they wanted to do Santa Claus on Halloween, but they wanted it to be the most absurd they could make it. And it was. And at first, when they said they got trying to get Tom Hanks to do it, I studied up on this and didn't know I was going to even have to. That's crazy. So I know my information here. Yeah. I finally researched something in the podcast because he's been doing all the heavy lifting. But yeah, he said that when they first give it to him, he thought Chris Pine should do it. And he tried to get it. Was it Chris Pine? Yeah, I think he said.
Okay.
I'll have to look, but I think he said Chris Pine to do it.
But having Tom Hanks is
right.
Brilliant.
You can't turn Tom Hanks down. It's Tom Hanks, especially on a comedic role. People who don't know this, Tom Hanks is a stand-up comedian. Used to be a stand-up comedian. He's Bosom Buddies. He started out in comedy, and if you've never seen Bosom Buddies, you're missing out. Bosom Buddies is genius. I can even say Peter Scolari. I don't even remember Peter Scolari, who was his bosom buddy in there. Yeah. It's about two dudes who are trying to go to school. I think going to med school or something.
What it is they want a cheap apartment, and the only apartment they can find
is all female.
It's like a dormitory for all women, and so they dress in drag in order to get an apartment.
Right.
But they're
they go through all the shenanigans that you can imagine.
There's a few people that still know that they're men. But they're trying to hide it from the superintendent.
Right, it's a pretty basic setup. They use the premise in a bunch of different movies and stuff, like Some Like It Hot, stuff like that. Yeah. But you can see where the hijinks goes. And just because of the climate when it came out in the early 80s, probably 82, 83, something like that. And you know what I mean? Tootsie had just been big. And if you've never seen Tootsie, that's genius. Yeah. Dustin Hoffman does basically the same thing. He dresses up like a woman to get a job. He got turned down for a reporter job as a man. Dressed up like a woman, reapplied for the job. You got the job, and it's about the shenanigans of a straight man living in a woman's world. Yeah. Basically, with Bosom Buddies is the same thing. It's just, of course, because it was a TV series, it just could have more different perspectives on things. You know what I mean? And it was tired some of the times, but a lot of times it was genius. Yeah. And it was cutting edge at the time. You know what I mean?
2 seasons.
That was, back then to think of two dudes in drag. Yeah. On a primetime TV show. You know what I mean? It was unheard of. And then to pull it off and make it popular. Oh, yeah. And it was, I'm talking about, and I'm not sure, but if I remember correctly, it did get canceled. Tom Hanks just quit and wanted to do.
I don't know. It ran for 2 seasons.
It might have got canceled. But I thought Tom Hanks might have said he wanted to try Hollywood or something like that.
Maybe so. I'm not sure why it was canceled.
Look, here's David S. Pumpkins.
Yeah, David S. Pumpkins.
So we got technologies.
Yeah. But I'll go ahead and say it. Peter Scolari was effing hot. Yeah. He was hot.
He's a good looking guy. Well, he was the pretty guy. Tom Hanks the funny guy.
He looked good in drag too. But that was back when we had good sitcoms like Mork and Mindy.
Yeah, right. Because Peter Scolari had been, he played a little character bitch in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a little David S. Pumpkins for you, huh?
You might want to go forward a little bit. Just so we can see David.
Yeah, I think I can play 30 seconds more than this, kind of, not to take it down.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to re-edit it, post it back. Trying to get to him here. Because I don't want to give no props. This is not my material, of course. This is Saturday Night Live's material. You should watch Saturday Night Live because it's awesome, and it has been awesome for over 40 years. Yeah. It's created more comedic geniuses than anything you can think of. It was a true comedic incubator. Go ahead. So please don't sue us, Lauren Michaels and NBC.
He'll be here in just a moment.
We're plugging hard for SNL. We love SNL.
Yeah.
And we raised us.
Yeah, he did.
It was the
there
perfect.
we go.
Oh, we want to see the beginning of it. My bad. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Tom Hanks is David S. Pumpkins.
I'm David Pumpkins, and I'm going to scare the heck out of you.
See, Bobby Moynihan, they were the two writers or creators right there. Yeah. It's just some corny, goofy, hilarious.
Yeah.
Question. That's his catchphrase, by the way.
Yeah.
Question.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around David Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to know who that is?
Yeah, it's
But anyway, I'll cut it off so we don't get sued.
It's a new classic.
And we're not going to sit here and
really
watch
is.
TV with you.
Yeah, it really is a new classic. You can analyze
Right.
it.
That's crazy. No
Yeah.
shit, I swear to you, Saturday, I was on Hulu, man, and I was stumbling around, like I said, waiting for I couldn't remember if the season had stopped already. In fact, it was the last new episode they just played.
Yeah.
Week before last, and I was like, he knew Saturday Night Live, and I saw David as Pumpkins, Tom Hanks. No shit, Saturday, and I laughed so hard I watched it twice. Then I went, and of course, because I'm either totally indifferent about something or I'm totally obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And when you know my ADHD, I got to get on it hot and fast, or I'll forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and researched it, dude. And it worked out. Look, it made it to the podcast.
Yeah.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
How about that for serendipitous first film podcast?
Yeah.
You love it.
Speaking of
That shit's hilarious. But we're back to Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You're the first guy who makes Forrest Gump.
I don't care for it. I don't see the point.
Even the first time you saw it.
Huh?
Even the first time you saw
Oh,
it.
yeah. I never
You
did
didn't like it the first time?
Never did like it. No.
Really?
Really.
Man, that blows my mind for so many different reasons.
And I didn't like that next one he did. Survivor? Was it? Survivor, where he's on the
Oh,
on
Wilson
the
with the
island
ball.
with the
Oh,
volleyball.
you should have said Survivor. It's
Yeah.
Castaway.
Castaway, yeah.
I mean, that was incredible acting, to be able to act,
Yeah,
fill the
his
screen by
acting was
yourself.
good.
I wasn't as impressed with it as they hyped it up to be. I'd have been just trying to, anyway, like they hyped it up to be, just because it was good. But the fact that I think it was Zemeckis direct that. I think what made it genius was that that he managed to hold the screen for
That's
2
true.
hours,
That's
which is
true.
impressive. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But the gimmick was, and here's a little film terminology for you. There's a term called MacGuffin that Hitchcock invented, and what a MacGuffin is something in the screenplay that really is not has anything as a main focus of the movie, but it drives the action. It makes the story move forward. And the MacGuffin in the gimmick in this movie was, of course, Wilson the volleyball. Because without Wilson the volleyball, literally, I hate to use this pun, but I'm going for the easy one to bounce his words off of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It would have been boring and dribble. Like my good old buddy Gabe become obsessed with the new Wachowski brother movies, where he talked in itchy bitchy slang. Have you seen that shit? What's it called? About the Wachowski brothers that, the dudes that made Matrix
Yeah.
and V for Vendetta, but
The-
they also
yeah,
made
yeah, the Wachowski-
they also made that Speed Racer shit.
Yeah,
They made a couple of duds.
They also made V for Vendetta.
Right, that's what I said. With V for Vendetta and all the Matrix. Which the first two Matrix are good. The last one, you could tell they were going for the buck. It's still
Okay.
watchable though.
I won't quibble over. I liked all three, but
I did too.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. When you talk about movies that affect you, there's certain movies that just pow hit you in the face
yeah.
and blow your mind. The original Matrix makes my list.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect that, and it was amazing. It was incredibly beautiful. Not to mention they used that new still film technology where they took the still cameras and would encircle the actors.
Oh, yeah.
They make them do that Matrix shit.
Right.
That was genius. They invented that shit.
It was.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
took old Nick. Here's how genius it was. They took old technology and kicked that shit to a new level to where it made it new again. They made old technology new and cutting edge again, man, which is genius.
Yeah.
Let me see Wachowski, brother. Because this movie. But, so you didn't like none of Forrest Gump.
No, I didn't.
Man,
No,
because
I'm
there's
not-
major heart swells. You didn't, look, okay.
But I'm not putting down Tom Hanks. He's brilliant. He always has been.
How about when Lieutenant Dan, hold up, let's start at the beginning. How about when Bubba died right there in his arms by the red bar? Come on, man. You didn't feel sad for Bubba?
Not really. I never did like that film. I didn't really like.
Okay, the other heart swell.
I did like Green Mile, and I did like.
Right, but there were so many heart swells in that movie. It was packed, action packed. Can't believe none of them got to you.
Mm.
How about when he saw Lieutenant Dan for the first time and walked off the boat?
I'm gonna have to revisit that film.
Man,
If I
or
still hate
how
him.
about when he asked Jenny if the son was mentally challenged like he was? You know what I mean? Oh, it makes me cry every time when he goes, "He like me."
Well, I'm a
Jenny."
heartless bitch.
Oh
anyway,
man!
So I hate heartless.
See, I don't know if it's because well, I'm sure it's a combination of several things, but I know two of them has to be when you have extreme ADHD, and I've told this story before, I don't know if I've ever told it to you. When I was a kid, I thought I had a superpower. Because if you have severe ADHD, you're so empathetic to other people that you can pick up on such the slightest clues and things that they put off that you can feel vibes in the rooms and you can feel tension easily. Mm-hmm. So, man, commercial, anything, if they hit the right note, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll cry like a fucking baby, man. And, man, there's just certain scenes in movies, just like when, and I don't even really like baseball, when Kevin Costner as his dad play a game of catch and Field of Dreams. Because, you were in my boat. I didn't have a daddy, and I didn't even like baseball, but I always want to play catch with the head. You know what I mean? I never had that moment. Every time I see it, boy, shit, I'm about to tear up talking about it right now. It takes me right back to my childhood at 8 years old. I'm talking about, and you would think I've as crazy as I am, and as much pot as I allegedly smoked, and I would have done fucking dull my senses and compartmentalize that to where I couldn't just zero back into it. But believe me, man, the little bit of acting I've done, and when I want to bring them tears up, dude, that's my secret trick. I go exactly to, you want to play catch? Hey, Dad, you have a game of catch? Oh, man, look, I do my eyes and look, I can start crying off that right now, dude. And I don't know why, I guess because all the other kids do it, and I didn't get to experience it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right?
I wasn't into sports.
Right, well, I know you wouldn't. We're not trying to pick up the gay stereotype because there's incredible gay athletes out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Of every variety. There's gay UFC fighters out there that are beating straight dudes' brains loose right now who probably ain't even saying about it. But I think now there is an openly gay MMA cat or one or two out there now, which is awesome because there's gay everything. People wake up.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not surprised because there's gay everything.
That's true.
Just like there's fucking corny fat white boy everything. There's gay right.
Yeah.
But no, what I was saying, it just blows my mind. I know we done got off on freestyling off the cuff on Forrest Gump. That's just because I'm literally amazed. Look, I've literally made a joke about, you don't know how many times I've said that about lots of people when talking about movies. I've never met anybody who didn't like Forrest Gump. White, black, Asian, female, male, 10, 50, no matter what. Any demographic. And all this time it was you, dude.
Yeah,
you were the guy.
It's because I'm
You're that one dude on fucking Rotten Tomatoes going, fuck this movie.
Well,
Tom Hanks is gay. You're that dude. This movie's gay.
Well, it's because I'm a heartless bastard. That's why.
Obviously. Man, you don't even tear it when he's like, is he like me, Jenny? Oh, man. Or when he figures out what AIDS is. Oh, man. But even the sweet parts. Like where he touches her breast and climaxes premature ejaculate. Oh, I got it all over your sweater. I know I do a bad Forrest Gump, but that movie, there's so many classic lines in it. You hear something crazy? A little quick Forrest Gump, personal info. When Stevie Stevens got married. Rest in peace, Stevie Stevens, one of the greatest men I've ever known, who's a local mortician, well-known businessman, Stevie Stevens. He's also Bill Clinton's third cousin. He might have got famous because of the Wayne DeMond debacle, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, if that brings it back home for you. Anyway, we won't dig up that past horribleness. Anyway, when he got married again, I went to his reception, and Winston Groom was there. I think it was his reception who wrote Forrest Gump. And that was back when there really wasn't no movie hypes or no internet. So you go to the movies, and you just roll the dice and flip a coin, one movie or the other. And it was awesome in a way because sometimes you get blown away like I was by Forrest Gump. And a lot of times you say, shit, you're like, I can't believe I wasted my money, my $5 allowance on this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the surprises were always made up for the disappointments. And Forrest Gump was like that. I remember me and the Lincoln brothers, as soon as they mentioned Nathan Bedford Forrest, I was like, holy shit, Forrest City. And at the time, I didn't realize, even though he pointed out soon afterwards the shame of Forrest City, he fucking founded the Klan. But as most conservative folks are quick to point out, but he disbanded the Klan too. Yeah, but the Klan didn't disband.
Yeah.
He just said, hey, we should quit. They're like, fuck this, guys. Let's keep going. I see a future in this shit. Like a dummy, you know what I mean? Like a heartless bastard.
Check the battery here. Let me.
All right, but yeah.
I think it's about time for another commercial break, Byron.
All right, because we got 12 minutes left, and that's what worked out. Last time we had 13 minutes left, and we got 13 minutes left on this one. So basically, we're getting 32 minutes out of the battery. Now we know that in the future.
Yeah.
So we're going to take another pause for the cause. And come right back.
So we'll be back in, again, 2 and 2.
Right on. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll speed. Speed, we got speed. Sound. That's how they really call it.
Yeah.
How about that? A little fucking pretend to be a director. Just like Alex Jones and Sean Hannity pretend to be journalists.
Well, welcome back to Shooting the Breeze.
Right.
My man, Byron.
And we're back too on the audio version. We're back from the break.
Mm-hmm.
We got a new battery. I was telling the story about meeting Winston Green because we were talking about Forrest Gump. Because let me reiterate, I've found the only human being on the planet who does not like Forrest Gump, and it's my man Terry Christian. I know it's unbelievable, and I don't even like movies that are usually that corny and just kitschy. And that movie was so well done by Robert Zemeckis. It hit all the right notes. I can't remember if I've ever seen a movie that the first time it been so joyful and sad and been happy and cried at least 4 times and been happy at least 4 times in a movie or more ever. And you know what I mean? Like I was telling Terry during the break, it's definitely got to be my most bipolar film experience ever. You know what I mean? Because at one point you're crying, next point you're cheering him on. He can do it. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, I'm at a wedding reception. I think it's Stevie Stevens. I'm pretty sure I might not have been supposed to be there. That might have been when Mr. Stevie didn't like me. There's a point where he had a misconception about me. Anyway, we won't go there. Anyway, so I was in there, and it was open bar. They didn't say more. I allegedly might have been partaking in contraband substances, primarily marijuana. I know that's a shocker. Anyway, when I meet the guy, I walk up on this guy, and he asks my name. I tell him I'm Beverly Lloyd. Nice to meet you. And I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Man, I'm Winston Groom." I started laughing, and I said, "Man, I ain't never met a Winston Groom before," or said, "I've never met a groom that wasn't a groom at a wedding," because we were at a wedding reception, and somehow I managed to put together that quick-witted one-liner that was even impressive for my dumb ass for sure, and I made him chuckle. And he asked me what I'd done for a living, and I told him at the time I was DJing, and I was doing a little light IT computer work. And I asked him what he did. He told me he was a writer, and I said, "Have I ever heard you writing? Have I ever read anything you wrote?" This, I used to be still am a decent, pretty voracious reader. And he said, "Forrest Gump." And I was like, "Man, get the hell out of here, dude. You wrote Forrest Gump, you dude. You sitting here telling me at a wedding reception in Forest City, Arkansas, town of about 13,000, that Winston Groom, the author of Forrest Gump, the smash hit movie, Academy Award winning, the one that put Tom Hanks on the, well, it didn't put him there. Philadelphia got him going.
And the one I don't like.
All right. Yeah, the movie he hates, the only human being on the planet who hates. I almost want to email Tom. Tom, you need to talk to Terry. We need to win him over. Something's wrong. We need to get Dr. Phil involved, make it a show, maybe me and Terry get a chance out of it.
I promise I'm going to watch it again.
Right, yeah, you got to give it another chance. You got to.
Just to make sure.
Right. Anyway,
yeah.
We went to Winston Groom, and I was just, when I was picking my jaw off the floor, man, no way. And then somebody, I forget who it was, confirmed that he was Winston Groom. And I told him, all the cliche fanboy shit, and usually I don't get real. I've met several famous people, a few, and I usually don't get real enamored with them. But man, that was the first movie director, not movie director, but some author other than Alex Haley. I'd met Alex Haley at that point. But I really couldn't talk to him about his writing, you know what I mean? Because when I met him, I was a 12-year-old kid. Yeah, how's a 12-year-old kid going to have a deep conversation about roots and slavery with Alex Haley? You know what I mean? Well. I was at Harding. My mama went to Harding, and I saw him give a lecture. But anyway, so they confirmed it was Winston Groom. Winston Groom wrote the book, Forrest Gump, that the movie was based on. And he told me, he's like, you need to go back and read the book. Forrest does way more in the book, of course, than he does in the movie because they have to shorten the movie for time. And I went back and read the book. Forrest lands, I think, on the moon. He gets high on weed. Man, he does all kind of shit. It is incredible. Forrest goes ham. How about that? Not black, and even goes Black Forest ham. Damn, there was another quick one. You give me that on that? What? Ham means hard as a motherfucker. It's a slang acronym. Okay. And I just said Forrest goes ham, even Black Forest ham.
Okay.
Oh man, no love for the cheesy one-liner off the top of my head. I'm talking about that was some old school fucking Rodney Dangerfield, not that good, but what was old dude that had some Jack Denny fucking one-liner action there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No love for my partner. Totally missed it. And what's sad is my son's always told us since he was 8 years old with them no help or talent for me that he wants to be a comedian. Since he was 8 years old, that's all he's wanted to be, stand a comedian. And that's his idea of joke still, is them corny one-liners, them hitting young ones. And I've been trying to get him out of it and showing him the classic, the masters. But he still sticks to them one-liners. I said, never know, son, that shit really ain't popular no more. Mitch Hedberg was the last guy who made that shit popular. And Stephen, what was old Stephen, it was in Half Baked that talks, old Stephen, the comedian that said the one-liners. Stephen, always famous. I can't believe it. I'm spacing. But anyway, we're trying to wrap this up, so I'm going to keep it going. But hopefully my kid maybe can bring back the one-liner. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like I said, we're down to our last 7 minutes, but we've had some bumps in the road. He's been audio recording twice, and of course we're filming, and I'm sure we hadn't looked at the camera enough. I'm pretty sure of that.
I checked it. It is recording, so
right.
We're good.
But I'm sure that when I mean looked at the camera, I mean actually looked into the camera.
Oh.
I'm sure we looked at the floor or each other more than we did the camera, which is good because that means we were enraptured by great conversation. You know what I mean? And trying to broaden horizons, which is the whole goal of the show.
Of course.
We were seriously, intentionally shooting the breeze, people.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That, what you just saw, what you're seeing here, is what shooting the breeze is all about. When you're into it, and it's just flowing, man, like the wind. You know what I mean? You're just blowing like the wind. But like I said,
so if anyone out there has anything that you want us to talk about,
right,
topics, questions,
right,
send them to us.
Please, man.
We're very interested.
You know what I mean? You can send them to me on Byron, was it Che Roney on Twitter, Byron A. Lloyd on Facebook, Stony Roney 419 on Instagram. Man, I got a bunch of that shit. I forget. Yeah. You know where it's at. Go look it up.
Wherever you post it,
all my email. Yeah, it's on Spreaker. Yeah. You can go look me up on Spreaker. All that shit. You know how it works, people. I don't have to explain it to you. Terry, I'm sure you can acquire his information the same way.
Yep.
Right? There's various social media. But it's been real, man. It's been so long since I've actually got to do a legit in-studio fucking podcast.
Yeah.
And not only that, first time we filmed one.
Yep.
And we've had a few bumps in the road. Like, I've made a couple of hiccups. Terry forgot to stop recording audio. Because, like I said, he's recording audio separately, too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we didn't look at the camera enough. But we're going to work it out because practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And I hope we kept it interested in popping enough.
Gosh, we haven't seen each other in 30 years.
Right, 30 years, man.
And, well,
that's worth filming right there.
Actually, I don't even remember how I know you. I don't even remember how we met.
I'll tell you exactly how. We used to stay before school started in high school, 9th grade. We used to stay out there in the same area before we walked in, where all the fucking non-cool, I won't say non-cool, but all the outsider kids were.
The band kids.
Right, yeah. You're right. Or the thuggish kids, or the outsiders. I always considered us all outsiders.
Okay.
Right, you know what I mean? They were always up there underneath the little fucking metal deal. Right.
See, I always figured it was after high school.
And you hung out with Trina and folks I hung out with, like Shelby and Trina. You know, didn't you hang out with Shelby Drew sometimes?
I don't know.
But Trina and,
anyone who was banned.
Brewer, Crystal Brewer's sister, all that whole crew, all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and plus
that friends of a friend shit.
I thought it was because after high school, I came back after a year of college. I came back and substitute taught in FCHS, and I thought it was you were in one of my classes.
No, dude, by then I was.
That was in fall of '91 to early '93.
No, like I said, because I've been kicked out of every school around here. I'm talking about literally every school.
Okay.
Palestine, famous Palestine story real quick. They kicked me out for no reason because my buddies were fucking doing donuts in the yard in their car, in the schoolyard. And I go outside to laugh. Well, it's longer than that, but here's the short version. So they start trying to run over me doing donuts around the flagpole in front of the school. I'm literally trying to run and dodge for my life. Of course, we might have been under the influence of something or some things. Anyway, when they park, mistake, the English teacher comes up, wants their license, they tell her it's on the back. Henny, they want to suspend me. I refuse to take a paddling. and that's how I got kicked out from College State. That's how I got expelled from life.
Now, did you ever go to the White House?
I was a full-time fixture there. Technically, believe it or not, my mother got that place shut down.
I always wondered what that place was like because whenever our bus would pass it, the faculty.
I got the record number of suspension days. They give me 60 days in a row one time.
Well, the faculty that would stand outside were so sour looking.
Oh yeah, Mr. Evans Sexton and Mr. Pettigrew. Look here, and not to mention they had a bunch of old guys who were like retired elderly people.
Yeah.
That were like their helpers. There was a dude named 8 Ball and a dude named Froggy. But I hate you brought it up the last 2 minutes and 49 seconds because even though it might not be cool for people outside this area, but I would love to do a segment on the White House, dude. I could tell you about some shit there that would blow your mind. And on top of that, you had to bribe them. And I allegedly would go in there and give Mr. Evans Sexton and Mr. Pettigrew weed. And here's the deal: you had to do real quick 30 reports, 30-page reports. You had to do 30 of them plus your schoolwork to get back in, which is impossible. Yeah. But there was always that one kid who you could pay a couple of bucks and he'd do all your reports for like $5. So they would let you go. They would let one kid go off and get snacks for everybody else at the little store right there, Freeman's, right? Mm-hmm. And if you bribed them, you could just go on to the house, man. If you give them some weed, and I'd give them a quarter of weed, and I'd just go on to the house and do my suspension at the house, and the dude would do all my shit for me, right? Mm. That's the truth. But anyway, one time they roughed me up because they were mad about beating people up and that place was falling down. Long story short. And they roughed me up, and I tried to explain to them that my mom was on the state school board with Hillary Clinton. They thought I was talking shit at the time, but guess what? My mother at one time was on the state school board with Hillary Clinton. When she found out, what I told them dudes, I'd give her, and I feel bad, but they deserved it. I give them that entitled white asshole kid move, spoiled kid move. My mama have your jobs. Guess what? My mom had their jobs. I was right on that one. She had that place condemned. But see, a dude had fell to the floor pissing in there. I mean, that place was it was a death trap. Oh. But there was violence and drugs. It was horrible, dude. Not horrible. It wasn't for me, but you know what I mean? Yeah. As far as anything associated with the school, it was rife with corruption and sex and all kinds of shit, heinous shit. But anyway, we'll get off there. Maybe that's for another day. We're down to our last minute, though. Yeah. Conversation's flowing. Great to see my man again after 30 years. I'm more than so excited and happy to do my first film podcast after 5 years with my man Terry Christian. And I got a list, I got to say again, Terry Christian. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I'll catch you back. We're going to do this shit again. It's just going to get bigger and better. There's shooting the breeze.
Send in your questions or topics.
Right, to social media.
Yeah. And if you have any complaints, well, keep them to yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or you can tell me and I'm just going to tell you to go get fucked. Yeah. Anyway, we're down to the last 30, so we're going to call it, this is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron A. Lloyd. I'm him. Yep. My guest, Terry Christian. Mm-hmm. Audi 5000, G. Yep. You know what I mean? Keep it popping.